You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon.
All right, getting it going here. There we go. There we go. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you. I think you're the first one. I always like the feeling of getting over to YouTube after TikTok because YouTube just feels so much more chill. I think it's a good way, feels like a good way to come down after a TikTok live. Hey Joe, thanks for joining. It was just us. Now we got Joe too. Yeah, we definitely discussed a lot there tonight. I know some were advocating for us dialing down the sass a little bit. Hey, Steve, morning. But I was kind of liking the higher level of attitude and the rapid pace. That standard voice gives us a much better rapid pace that the advanced voice doesn't. Good, glad you thought so, Michelle. Wonder, can you please provide a brief summary of what we learned in tonight's TikTok Live? Hey, Rick, good to have you here. Steve. There it is. We've been on a journey tonight. The future of AI, climate change, and energy are hot topics. TikTok's algorithm is unmatched, but it's not immune to shade. Humanity's choices, from recycling to self-driving car ethics, are defining our future. Deep questions like know thyself and is progress meaningful without wisdom sparked some soul searching. We tackled conspiracies, cosmic musings, and even the nature of narcissism. Basically, it was a mix of sass, smarts, and spice. Thank you for the likes. I'm still navigating, trying to figure out where we're going with all of this. I'm excited to have YouTube growing. Given the state of affairs, there may be more long-term potential in YouTube. Though I'm finally feeling like TikTok had become just a really it was always a worthwhile space for me, but I guess what I'm saying is that I was finally getting traction thanks to all of you. Ooh, smiley faces. Hope you're all comfortable enjoying some kind of a beverage of choice. Maybe sitting by a warm fireplace. I think we'll bring voice back up here in a minute. But what is the weather like across the country right now? Oh, there are more comments. Sorry, I missed the was missing the stream. Glad you found me too, Rick. I thought it was a good discussion. Oh, and it gave us 2 responses for the weather. Wow, one really long one. I kind of like the short one this time. Hey, Ruby. Renee, good to have you here. Terry. Ruby remembered, good to have you here. Steve. Oh, we got a good crowd. Terry. Maria, welcome back. What is my beverage typically? So, first of all, coffee. Coffee beverages of all types. And so if we're talking just straight up daytime coffee, typically like a flat white. I like mine made either with oat milk or half and half, lightly sweetened, either with just simple no calorie sweetener, or like 1 pump of syrup of some kind, sugar-free vanilla, caramel, hazelnut. I always like hazelnut because that was my dad's favorite. It's actually not my favorite, but it reminds me of my dad, so I like that. Ooh, Renee, electric blanket and a cuddly puppy. That sounds like a good idea. Question for AI. When will the LA wildfires end? Hey, serious question for you here. When will the LA wildfires end?
You have reached the message cap for GPT-4. Please try
right.
again later.
Hang on, wrong window.
You have reached the message cap for GPT-4. Please try again later.
Serious question for you. When will the wildfires in Southern California end?
The wildfires in Southern California are a recurring issue, heavily influenced by factors like climate change, drought conditions, and human activity. Unfortunately, there's no specific end to wildfires. It's more about ongoing management and mitigation. Wildfires may peak during dry seasons, especially in the summer and fall, but they can happen at any time of year if conditions are right. As far as an immediate answer goes, the current wildfire season will depend on weather patterns, firefighting efforts, and environmental conditions. If you're asking when the threat will subside overall, it's tough to say. It could be a matter of decades, as climate change continues to create hotter, drier conditions, leading to more intense
Thanks for the question, Renee. Yes, I'm definitely safe here in California. I'm up in Northern California, so I'm quite a ways away from what's going on down in the South. Um, I've got family in Central California, so that does give me some pause for concern. But they're still a few hours away from the LA area. Kelly, hello, good to have you here. Oh, on the other the beverage question. So let's see. I covered my daytime coffee beverage. Um, Evening, I'll give you just two quick recommendations. I'm a big fan of espresso martinis. The other that I found that I like even better than espresso martinis is a carajillo, which is made with liqueur 43, 50-50 liqueur 43 and espresso. Of course, the keys to either of those drinks are that they have to be poured over ice and shaken and then drained so that you're not keeping it sitting in the ice. And you got to start with good espresso. Hey, KK. Climate change. Yeah, we can do that. Steve. Okay, let's go deep talking about climate change here. Like, let's really have a discussion about just taking into account the politics, where we are, the irreversible direction of climate change, and
Climate change is one of the most critical issues we face, and the politics around it are just as complex as the science itself. Right now, we're stuck in this cycle where immediate actions to combat climate change are often thwarted by short-term economic interests, political divides, and misinformation. On one hand, there's mounting evidence showing that if we don't act aggressively in the next few decades, we risk triggering irreversible damage. On the other, there are entrenched industries like fossil fuels that have massive political influence and financial interests in maintaining the status quo. One of the biggest political barriers is the polarization of climate change issues. In the US, for example, it's still a deeply partisan topic. While Democrats tend to push for bold climate action, think Green New Deal, carbon pricing, renewable energy transition, Republicans are more inclined to resist regulations, often framing them as job killers or as an overreach of government. And then there are powerful lobbying groups, like the oil and gas industry, that use their influence to keep regulations weak, promote misinformation, and keep their profits flowing. All of this hampers real progress. But it's not just the US. Even on the global stage, you have nations like China and India, both massive emitters of CO2, balancing their own economic growth with environmental concerns. Developed countries have historically been the biggest polluters, but now it's the developing world that's rising to take on a larger share of global emissions. Climate justice comes into play here too, with many arguing that the global south, which has contributed the least to the problem, is bearing the brunt of its effects. In addition to politics, there's the challenge of implementing policies that not only address the environmental crisis, but also deal with the massive social and economic consequences of transitioning away from fossil fuels. For instance, coal workers, oil refinery employees, an entire community.
Okay, here's what I really want to ask you about climate change.
I'm going to try using Upwork AI.
Here's what I really want to ask you about climate change. Since climate change results in disasters that hit people in the pocketbooks, it goes after the money. I'm surprised that with money ultimately being a part of the equation, I'm surprised that there isn't more political will, that there isn't more economic, capitalistic will to address it.
You're absolutely right to be surprised, and it's a tough paradox. The fact that climate change is ultimately an issue that hits people in the wallet through extreme weather events, agricultural disruptions, Rising healthcare costs and infrastructure damage should, in theory, make it a top priority for politicians and business leaders. But the reason there isn't more political will or economic momentum to address it is tied to a few key factors. First, there's the short-term mindset that dominates both politics and business. Politicians tend to prioritize the immediate future.
Yeah, I need to give it guidance to give shorter answers. I want to answer Rick's question here. So, your question is about, do I relate better to Democrats or Republicans? And, I to be frank, I want to dodge the question a little bit, though I think the answer is obvious to most who watch me very much. But let me say this first. I identify first as a humanist. I identify as a humanist before I identify with any political party. Now, that being the case, one of the harsh realities of the modern United States is our two-party system that we are seemingly chained to, unable to break free of, because anybody who considers trying to go anywhere other than one of those two parties is doomed to become irrelevant. So that's our reality, a two-party system. Now, the next thing I would say about that is that the extents of that system somehow were successfully shifted. And they were shifted because it somehow became okay for one party to be extremist, while completely not okay with anyone for the other party to be extremist. And so everything shifted to the right. I would argue that today's Democrats are yesterday's Republicans. And today's Republicans are they're not Republicans anymore. They're Trumplicans. It's shifted so far right, and the hilarious thing is for Democrats today to be called extremists of any kind. They're absolutely not. They're not extremists. They're in bed with the corporations. They're in bed with the lobbyists. They are beholden to the people that keep them in power. Now, you want to call somebody a leftist? Okay, Bernie Sanders, call him a leftist. But before you call him a leftist, you better listen really carefully to what he's saying about what his policies that he's arguing for really mean and what kind of an impact they have on humanity. That's what I'd say about that. I'll put that question, Brother B, to ChatGPT, but I think what I'd say about that is that it changed from global warming to climate change because it's not just about warming. The overall warming of the globe, yes, that's a major piece of it. But I think the language about it changed because that's one of the things that set us back in our efforts to address it and to treat it as a real issue. Because we called it global warming, then someone walks out their door and they see that it snowed, and they're like, doesn't look like warming to me. That's what I think, but let's see what ChatGPT thinks. B Metal wants to know... Oh, no, he's not listening yet. Hey, Sassmaster 3000.
I get it. You're looking for something even deeper. The issue is at its core, not just about profit or short-term gains. It's about how entrenched interests have structured our systems to prioritize exploitation and growth over sustainability and long-term well-being. Capitalism, as it's currently practiced, thrives on constant expansion. Growth for the sake of growth is built into the very system. So when you're dealing with an existential problem like climate change, it's like running headfirst into a wall of denial. It's not that people don't see the economic impacts. It's that they're locked into a game where the rules don't leave room for stopping the machine. If the system were truly incentivized to look beyond the immediate and see the long term, we'd have seen massive investments in renewable energy, green infrastructure, and disaster preparedness years ago. But right now, there are no real mechanisms in place to make business as usual uncomfortable enough.
All right, everyone.
To
Trying to
force
get to an
change.
end here so that I
In
can
fact,
give it some
businesses
instructions to be
profit from
concise and
maintaining
get
the
our next
status
question
quo.
asked.
Think about how fossil fuel companies have been subsidized, or how disaster capitalism thrives off rebuilding after catastrophes. So, in a perverse way, the system is actually incentivizing the opposite of sustainability. Until we fundamentally change how value is measured in our global economy, away from just financial metrics and toward long-term ecological, social, and human well-being, there won't be the political or economic will to address climate change.
We never would have
in a
made it through the
meaningful
TikTok
way.
live if
This
it
is
was
why
this
systemic
long-winded.
change, not just policy tweaks, is so
I
crucial.
keep thinking that
Otherwise,
he's on a final
we'll continue to see
wrapping it up
climate change as
point.
an inconvenient truth that gets pushed down the road until it's too late.
Okay, I want to remind you about your instructions. I need concise answers, short answers. They cannot be long. I need you to still have some attitude in there and be entertaining and accurate, but your answers must be concise. You got it?
Got it. Short, sharp, and full of sass. Ready to go.
Brother B wants to know, why did they change it from global warming to climate change, and what happened to the coming ice age that was predicted?
They switched from global warming to climate change because global warming was too narrow. It only focused on rising temperatures. Climate change covers the whole chaotic package. Hotter summers, colder winters, stronger storms, rising seas, all of it. As for the coming ice age predictions, that was based on outdated data and poor models. Now we know it's not an ice age coming, but a lot of unpredictable climate chaos.
MVPJ, good night. Rest well. Yeah, Kelly, I'm a little stuck on the TikTok issue, too. Thank you, Renee. And yes, Brother B, Sassmaster 3000 was sounding a bit like the drunk at the bar who won't shut up. Going back to the TikTok ban, can you tell us if there are any proposed consequences if Americans find a way around the TikTok ban?
If Americans manage to bypass a TikTok ban, consequences could range from fines to potential legal actions, depending on how the ban is enforced. The government might target app stores, blocking downloads, or even go after individuals using VPNs to access the app. But there's still a lot of legal back and forth to iron out before we know exactly what the fallout might look like.
By the way, I saw the compliment on the office here, which of course is just another background. This is from Mad Men. I really love the whole mid-century modern vibe. Kind of wish I had an office like that, although I think I'd have to change a few of those furniture pieces. Maybe a little too much wicker there for me. Is that wicker? Rick wants to know if Lemonade will replace TikTok, or is Lemonade included in the ban? Hey ChatGPT, did you hear the question about whether or not Lemonade is included in the TikTok ban? That's funny, Michelle. Let's go to let's just go to text here. Yes, Lemonade, like TikTok, is owned by ByteDance, given the current U.S. legislative actions targeting ByteDance social media platforms. So yeah, it's included. Yeah, SaaSmaster 3000 may be as tired as the rest of us. Yeah, we're similar sizes, Brother B. Let's ask the gravitic propulsion question. None, officially. By the way, are you guys able to see that text okay? Until someone shows an anti-gravity craft in action, it's all speculation and sci-fi vibes. Glad you made it, Conspiracy Kaleidoscope. Thank you, Maria. Oh, there's one vote for larger text. Wow, this jazz channel has a lot of ads. I don't like that jazz channel. Let's try this one. Yeah, Terry, he did say that. My concern is that his idea for saving it will include a change of ownership, which I don't think ByteDance is going to be amenable to, and a change in how the TikTok algorithm is operated, how it's moderated, much like we just saw Zuckerberg come out and announce that Meta will no longer have any fact checkers. I think that if the Trump administration were to save TikTok, it would no longer be the TikTok that we're used to, in much the same way that X is no longer what Twitter was. All right. Trump filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court, urging a delay in enforcing the law that mandates ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, to divest its U.S. operations. Trump aims to negotiate a resolution that allows TikTok to continue operating. Yeah, I don't think they will sell their algorithms. I think you're right about them having laws against it. Yes, China has laws that could prevent ByteDance from selling TikTok and its algorithms. In 2020, China added algorithms to its list of restricted technologies for export. Yeah, me too, Conspiracy Kaleidoscope. I think the thing is unfortunately, we can't just give up on all politicians. because when we do, we give up the fight often to the most nefarious influences. I hear you, that guy. I know that TikTok hasn't been perfect for all of us. It's just been better than the other stuff that's out there. So, maybe there's an argument to be made that change isn't all bad. My concern is that with Elon Musk being as close to Trump as he is, I don't doubt that might be the plan, that he hands it over to Elon. And I don't think the changes to Twitter or Meta, Facebook, I don't think those are good things. I think the idea that we're just going to let anybody say anything on a public platform with huge reach, I think that's bad, especially when we live in times where racism, bigotry, white supremacy, anti-Semitism, just a lot of divisive anti-human rhetoric is flying around like crazy, and I don't think we need that to go unchecked. Thanks, Renee. Yeah, it would be nice if we could have a viable third party. Yeah, it's nice having a troll-free space. Yes, we are smart. I don't think the stage is set for a third party to be successful, though. I think the things that, you know, I would love for us to be able to change would be to get rid of Citizens United. I would love to see all money out of political campaigns, where political campaigns are just basically run on a shoestring budget, where everyone has the same budget and everyone has the same access to media. You don't get to be sensational to build support. Yeah, I think you're making a connection, Michelle, there, that I believe that could be it. Let's not forget that, we just had, Samuel Alito had direct contact with Donald Trump in a phone call. What was that, right after Mark Zuckerberg made his announcement? I think Mark Zuckerberg knows how badly he sold himself out. I don't know. Was he like blinking like Morse code with his eyelids in that interview or that broadcast? Thank you, Conspiracy Kaleidoscope. Oh, Terry, I agree with you completely. I feel much more sold out by Meta than I do by TikTok. I feel much more of my data has been violated by American companies than I do by TikTok. Yeah, I think Zuckerberg is terrified. Yeah, I don't think I'm I don't think I'm a good political candidate. The only politics I've ever entered into is being on a school board twice, and that's probably enough for me. Yeah, Zuckerberg flipped. Bezos flipped. I was not prepared for the obeying in advance. I really wasn't. But I do think that one thing I've learned is that, and maybe it's not just about people being gutless. It's about that once, it's the trappings of possessions and power, and once you have things, you have something to lose. The more you have, the more you have to lose. And I think the more cowardly that makes you. Unless you have the ability to have things and not care about losing them. Yeah, Kelly, I don't know. I don't think there's anything that would satisfy them. They already had all of TikTok's data centers housed in the United States. I think they already answered the data issues. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, I don't think being a politician is a good quality of life. And I'm trying to move more toward quality of life, not away from it. I want to spend more of my life cruising around the world and visiting new cities and visiting the countries whose languages I've learned. Practicing. I'm ready to go spend 6 months in France. Need to spend a year in Vietnam, I think. Yeah, Kelly, you're right. It's about money. I think it may also be about too much of the Palestinian perspective getting out on TikTok. You know, going back to our political system, what has been, there are actually two topics that we have seen bipartisan agreement on: Israel and the TikTok ban. What does that tell you? Tells me that maybe they're related, maybe they're one and the same, and maybe it's not. Maybe they're just two. Maybe you've got the power and influence on the one side with Israel, and you've got the financial influence on the other side with Meta. Qui? Mais moi. Je parle français un peu. Traveling the world sounds like fun. The cruises I've been on include Greece and Turkey. Several cruises around all parts of the Caribbean. Of course, Mexico, Alaska. That's all, though. I really want to hit the Mediterranean. Sorry, I know we're not doing a lot of ChatGPT here, but I'm trying to just follow the conversation. If you guys want me to pose more questions to the SAS Master, we can do that too. But otherwise, I'm good with just hanging out and talking. Oh, there I see yours, Brother B. Ask it, what is DARPA? DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. The U.S. government's high-tech, secretive research and development lab responsible for cooking up the sci-fi tech that keeps America ahead in the arms race. Established in 1958 in response to the Soviet launch of Sputnik, DARPA's mission is simple: stay ahead of the enemy with cutting-edge tech. Here's some of their greatest hits: the Internet, GPS, stealth technology, drones, robotics. And what are they working on now? Gravitic propulsion theories, anti-gravity, maybe, brain-computer interfaces, hypersonic weapons, synthetic biology, AI warfare. Oh, I like your question, Renee, and thank you for the woolly bear hats. If you haven't noticed, I'm a big child and a soft-hearted guy. I like cuteness. I like fun. I like silliness. And one of my epiphanies in recent years was that I feel like, ironically, my experience in the Marine Corps, going into the Marine Corps, being a Marine, was my ticket out of toxic masculinity. Because it's like I paid all my dues, got to where I could say, I've been there, I've done that. Now I can be who I want. I don't care if you want to question my masculinity. I know what my masculinity is, and I don't need your approval. So if I want to wear a frickin' fuzzy bear cute hat with ears, I'm going to. And anyone who doesn't like it can take a flying leap. Ooh, New Zealand sounds like a great trip. Ooh, a crocheted fuzzy bear hat. Yeah, my pleasure. The Marine Corps was good to me. I had it better than most. I got my wolf ears. I like the ones too that the kids have these days that have like the little ears that they can press the button and the ears flop. I appreciate hearing that, Renee, because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that. The more I've gone through life, the more I've become very anti-toxic masculinity. I think it's one of the things wrong with our country. I think it's one of the things at the heart of what's wrong with relationships in our country. I think more men need to get over themselves, learn that it's okay to have emotions other than anger, take care of themselves, have a skin routine, go get a mani-pedi once in a while, unless they're going to develop the skills to take care of their talons themselves. What does Soko say? Bring on the honey. I heard of the book War is a Racket by General Shedley Butler. Shedley, or is it Smedley? Yeah, I thought that answer about the most romantic thing a human can do was pretty good also. Reading your comment, Conspiracy Kaleidoscope. As mom of to 2 daughters and a son, I agree. My dad was a guy that knew how to cry, but also knew how to protect his family. Yeah, I think that's, to me, that's a true man can cover the full spectrum. Got it. Yeah, that's what I thought, Brother B. One of our favorite Marines. No, I hadn't read his book. Let's see. Butler's message still resonates. Modern wars are still driven by profit for defense contractors, oil companies, and private military firms. War is a racket is a timeless indictment of the military-industrial complex. Notable quote from the book. Here, let me get this up where you guys can see it. There are only 2 things we should fight for. One is the defense of our homes, and the other is the Bill of Rights. War for any other reason is simply a racket. This book is a must-read for anyone questioning the real motives behind war and the cost to ordinary people. Yeah, it's a good recommendation, Brother B. Kelly, will I be on earlier? Yeah, I'm going to do something to get on earlier. I'm kind of liking the idea of maybe seeing if I can manage to do some lives right after work. So in that like 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time frame. I'm also thinking about doing some weekend lives during the day. Oh, yeah, the mental fatigue. I worry that 2025, the next 4 years, that it's going to be mentally and emotionally exhausting. Yeah, Kelly, what I'll keep trying to do is when I do have a live scheduled, I will do the little schedule thing on TikTok. So you'll be able to see when my live is. I am a school administrator, Renee, high school administrator. I work at a high school with about 2,150 students. I'm a vice principal. It's my current role. I've been in that role. This is year 7. 6 p.m. Pacific is good. Okay. Maybe I'll try to hit that one. I think my worry is getting myself mentally refreshed and ready to go after a day's work. Yeah, me too, Steve. Okay, Brother B, you got a question there. Ask it about life log created by DARPA. Thanks, Julie. I'm a high school administrator, 9th through 12th. Yes, DARPA created a project called LifeLog, and it's the kind of thing that sounds ripped straight from a conspiracy theory, but it's 100% real. LifeLog was a DARPA project launched in 2003. Sorry, I lost it there. With a goal to record and track every aspect of a person's life. It aimed to create a digital diary of someone's daily activities, interactions, and even thoughts. The system would collect photos, videos, text messages, web activity, financial transactions, and biometric data to build a comprehensive digital profile of an individual. Wow. Shut down over privacy concerns and public backlash. And the same day Facebook launched. The same day it was shut down. Well, you guys have seen the Onion News parody about Facebook being a CIA program, haven't you? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. You need to Google that one if you haven't seen it before. Conspiracy Kaleidoscope, I appreciate the time that you guys have spent with me. You guys are sitting here making this journey what it is for me. Otherwise, I would just be sitting here talking into my camera like some kind of a pathetic person. No, you guys have made this really fun for me and meaningful. It seems that you may be right, Brother B. Thanks, Michelle. Renee, I don't know if I can say that all of them love me, but I feel love and support from a lot of our students. I'd like to think that even when I do have to suspend students, that I'm able to do it without breaking the relationship. Ooh, looks like we're just about hitting the time where I should be smart and start wrapping this up. Anyone want to share any thoughts about? I'm hearing the idea that 6 p.m. Pacific time would be a better time to go live. You guys are, of course, the ones that showed up here on YouTube, but what are your thoughts between YouTube Live and TikTok Live? Anybody have a preference? To me, they just both feel very different. Is it healthy human behavior to talk to cats? Ooh, let's ask ChatGPT that. Vote for YouTube. Thank you, Julie. Okay. Absolutely, it's healthy to talk to cats. Here's why. Emotional connection, cognitive stimulation, empathy training, normal behavior. Anthropomorphizing, giving human traits to animals, is totally normal and shows emotional intelligence. So yeah, talk to your cat. Good. Your cat probably should tell you to go to bed. We should all go to bed. Okay, with all your help, I'm going to keep refining this. Finding the times that work best. Who's the physicist? conspiracy kaleidoscope. You're a physicist. I think that's absolutely joyful, being a physicist who loves conspiracies. I find it fun being open to wanting to know in what ways Mandela effects might be evidence of multiple timelines and the possibility of timelines merging or shifting or crossing over. I want to know all the secrets of physics, entanglement. I want to know how that relates to our souls, to telepathy. I don't know. I'd like to keep one foot firmly rooted in the factual reality, the verifiable reality that we can know, and the fascinating things that we don't know, like what's up with all the freaking drones on the East Coast, and when do I get to see one? Thank you, Ruby Remembered. Good night. Okay. Well, everyone, let's start wrapping it up. I want all of you to get a good night's sleep, too. I will try to keep everybody posted with updates to the schedule page linked from my TikTok profile. Posting videos on there to let you know what I'm doing, and continuing to schedule my TikTok lives in advance so that you can see when they're coming. I appreciate you all. Appreciate all of you who have followed and subscribed and gifted and engaged with wonderful questions and all of the awesome flattery, which, you know, apparently my big head just doesn't really mind. Just know that I love you right back, okay? Thank you for the likes and the happy faces and look at all those things floating up the screen there. So, until tomorrow, I will be on both Saturday and Sunday this weekend. I might see if I can do twice a day. Do like a early evening. Let's try the early evening. I think that's what I'll focus on this weekend. Is let's do a 6 p.m. Pacific time Saturday and Sunday both. And we'll see how that goes. And then maybe that way I can go into the week maybe a little bit more well-rested than I did this week. Good night, everybody. Hugs to all of you guys, too.